Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 1-2 of November 2020 of 4024 for the code. So this is the paper for this year that you guys just had. The actual paper itself and the marking schemes are not out yet. So these questions were sent to me by one of the subscribers by photos. So I'll try to put everything down on a document. So let's go through the questions one by one and see what do we have. Okay. So question number 1 here we have to evaluate. So this one, as you can see, is two fractions. It is minus, and here we have different bases. So the first thing we need to do is to change the base and make it become the same. And one way is to by doing the LCM. So same base, we multiply them by each other. 5 times 3 is 15. And then we have to cross multiply. So 4 times 3 is 12. Here you have minus. 5 times 2 is 10. So your answer will be 2 over 15. That is your answer for part 1. Now for part B, we have to evaluate decimals. So 2.7 times 0.2. So as you guys know by now, at first we ignore the decimal place, right? You do 27 times 2. You will have 7 times 2 is 14. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So you get 54. Now we look at the decimal place. So here we have one decimal place, and here we have one decimal place. So everything together we have two decimal places. So we count 1, 2. So your answer is 0.54. And that is your question number 1. Now question number 2, we have to find a fraction which is exactly halfway between those two. So pretty easy. We first have to add these two together and then divide by 2 to find the exactly halfway. So 3 over 5 plus 5 over 7. Again, we have two fractions and the base are different, so we have to multiply them by each other. 5 times 7 is 35. Cross multiply, you will have 7 times 3 is 21. Here we have plus 25. So 5 times 5 is 25. So that will give you 21 plus 25 is 46 divided by 35. So now we have to divide by 2. So divide by 2. Now when you have divide, you have to change that to multiply. So 2 is 2 over 1. You will have 46 over 35. Change that to multiply. And you have to flip this upside down. It will become 1 over 2. Now we have to simplify. That will be 2, 3. So that will be 23 over 35. And this is your answer for the fraction exactly halfway, these two. Now let's move on to question number 3. So here we have to factorize these equations. So first one, let's see what we have. So here we have 12, here we have 4, here we have t squared and t. So let's bring this here. So by observation, you can see we have 4 common and we have t common. So you will have 3t minus 1. Okay, that is your answer for part A. Now for part B here, you can see we have a times x minus y plus b times y minus x. So the only difference is in the inside we have x minus y. Here we have y minus x. So what can we do is we can just take out the minus sign. You will have this one remain the same. But now if you were to remove the minus sign, you will have minus b times x minus y. Now these two are the same. You can factorize outside. You have x minus y, and then remaining will be a minus b. Okay, and this is your answer for part B. Now for part C, we have a quadratic equation, and let's see what can we do. So first thing first, because we have x squared, we have two brackets, right? And then x squared is x times x, and 3 is 3 times 1. So put 3 to 1. Now to get minus 2, we have to have minus 3 plus 1. So this is your answer. So check. Plus times minus have to be minus. So here we have minus. So this is good. That is your question number 3. Now let's move on to question number 4. So we have to write this down in ascending order, which means from the smallest to the largest. So as you can see, they all have different units. Right, we have kilometers, cm, mm, and m. It is kind of hard to compare when they have different units at the end. So one thing we can do here is change everything to the same unit. So you can choose, it is up to you. For me, I would like to choose what? I can choose meters. Let's convert everything to meters. So here we have 0.043 km, that is equal to 0.043 times 1000 meters. So you know 1 km is 1000 meters, so we can just convert by multiplying by 1000. So you move 3 decimal place, 1, 2, 3, that will be 43 meters. Okay. Now what's next? Here we have centimeters. So you know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So 433 centimeters is 1 over 100 times 433. That is 4.33. So 4.33 meters. Now for this one, here we have millimeters. This m here is 10 times 10 power minus 3. Okay, so you will have divided by 1000, that will be 4.34 meters, and this one is 4.33333. Keep going on, meters. Now we have to compare which one is the smallest. So by observation, this one is the smallest. So you begin with 433 centimeters, and then what do we have? We have this one. So you have 1 over 3 meters, and then we have this one, which is 4340 millimeters, and then we have this one, which is 43. Sorry, it is 0. We don't take this one, right? 0.043 km. Okay, this is the answer in order from ascending orders from smallest to largest. Now for question number 5, Sandra buys a vase for $40 and sells it for $200. So now we have to find the percentage profit. So pretty easy. You first have to find the profit. You have 200 minus 40. The profit is 160. Now percentage profit is the profit, which is 160, divided by cost, which is 40, and times 100 for the percentage. So let's simplify. This will give you 4. You have 4 here, 0, 400. Your answer is 400% for her profit. Now for question number 6, these are the minimum temperatures recorded. Okay, so we have a list of temperatures. So we have a few questions here. So whenever we have a list of temperatures, our first thing to do is to rewrite them in order from the smallest to the largest. So rewrite them in ascending orders. So let's see which one is the smallest. Here we have, I think this one is the smallest, so minus 4.16, and then we have minus 3.5, and then we have minus 2.4, and then we have minus 2.3, and then we have minus 1.4, and we have minus 1.2, and finally minus 0.7. Okay, I hope that was fine. So basically we have to rewrite everything down in from the smallest to the largest number. Now question number 1, find the range. Range is pretty easy. It's the max value minus the minimum value. So max is minus 0.7 minus the minimum, which is minus 4.6. So here you will have, this will become plus, so you will have 4.6 minus 0.7. So let's do that. You will see you have 4.6 minus 0.7. 10 minus 7 will be 3. 3 plus 6 will be 9. So you have 3.9. So your range is 3.9 degrees Celsius. Now for part B, how many temperatures are between minus 4 and minus 2? So let's see. So here we have these temperatures. This will be outside, right? Because it is outside, right? And now we have 1, we have 2, and we have 3. So this will be outside 2. So these 3 will be inside this range. So we have number of temperatures is 3 according to the list that we have. Okay, and that will be your question number 6. Okay, so let's move on to question number 7. So by writing each number correct to 1 SF, estimate the value of this fraction. So let's do that one by one. So on top we have 6.044 power 2. So first we can ignore the power 2. You will have 6.044. Now we have to write this correct to 1 SF. So we first leave the first number by itself and we ask ourselves if this number is more or equal to 5. No, it is not. So in that case we make everything else become 0. So you get 6.000. Now for this one we have 212. We'll leave the first one by itself and we ask if this number here is more or equal to 5. No. So we change everything else to 0. And then we have this one, 0.304. Now we don't count 0, so we leave this one by itself. And we ask if this one is more or equal to 5. No, it is not. So we change everything else to 0. So your answer will be 6 power 2 over 200 times 0.3. So now we can simplify. On top you will have 6 times 6 will be 36. And here you will have, so first, as you know, when you multiply decimals, first multiply, you will have 200 times 3, that will be 600. Then we have 1 decimal place, so we have to put 1 decimal place. Okay, so we have this for now, so let's write this down. You will have 36 over 60. So how can you simplify this? We can divide by 6. You have 6, you have 10, and that will be 0.6 as your answer. Or you can give your answer as a fraction, 3 over 5. Up to you, right? Now let's move on to question number 8. So in the diagram, the time on the clock is 2:30. Okay, I don't think it's perfect, but you get the idea. This is the time, 2:30. Okay, and here we have to calculate the reflex angle between the two hands. So how do you find the reflex angle? So first thing first, we have to break it down. So as you can see here, we have what? We have somewhat of a pie chart, right? It's a circle, so you can see it as a pie chart. So everything together, the angles have to be 360 degrees, right? Okay, so let's break it down. So what if I do this, right? And then I break it down into pieces. So of course my drawing will not be perfect, but the one on the exam will be perfect, okay, the drawing. So but you get the idea. First thing, we have to break it down and look at this as a pie chart. That's the main goal right now. Okay, so right now you can see we have the pieces of a pie chart. So these pieces will be equal because this is 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, so everything is equally divided, so everything will be same. Now let's count how many pieces we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 sections. Now what is the angle of one of these sections, right? So you would see it is 360 divided by 12 for the angle of one section. That will be divided by 12, you have 1, that will be 30. So one of the angle will be 30 degrees. Now we want to find the reflex angle, which is this one. So let's see how many pieces that is. So we count, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but now here it is half piece because it is 230. So that is half a piece, that is 15 degrees. So let's do the math. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will be 8 times 30 plus 15 for the half piece. That will be 240 plus 15. That should be 255 degrees for the angle of the reflex angle. Okay, so that will be question number 8. Now let's move on to question number 9. So we have to simplify. So first let's expand and see what happens. So 3 times everything, you will have 9a minus 12 plus 4 minus 2a. Now 9a minus 2a, that will be 7a minus, so 12 minus 12 plus 4 is minus 8. So this will be your answer for part A. Now for part B, given that 4x equal to 3y, find the numerical value of this. So let's convert x to y, right? So here we have 4x equal to this. So what is 8x? You observe 8x is simply 2 times 4x. Now 4x, we know it is 3y. That will be 6y. So you will have 6y plus y over y. That will be 7y over y, which will be 7 as your answer. Now for question number 10, we have to solve the simultaneous equation. So you guys must know how to do this by now. This one is pretty simple. We'll make y become the subject of formula 5 minus 4y. And here we have 3x minus 2. Y is now 5 minus 4x. Sorry. That will be 12. Now we expand. You will have 3x minus 10 plus 8x equal to 12. So 3x plus 8x, that will be 11x equal to 22. X have to be the value of 2. Now for the value of y, y has to be 5 minus 4 times x. That will be 5 minus 8, and that will be minus 3. So x have to be 2 and y has to be minus 3. And that is your question number 10. Now question number 11, we have to express this in standard form. So let's see what we have here. So first we have to count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3.4 times 10 power 5 is your answer. Now here we have this. We have to simplify to see what we can do. So we have 4 over 8 times 10 power 7 over 10 power 21. So simplify one by one. So here you have 1 over 2. That will be 0.5 times 10 power. So when we divide, we have to minus. So 7 minus 21. So I'm not good in doing reverse minus, so I like to do 21 minus 7. That should be 14. So it will be minus 14. So now you have to express in standard form. So you have to send the 0 here. You will have 5.0 times 10 minus 15 as your answer. Now part C, we have to find the value of k. So let's see what can we do. So here we have to make sure we express this as 10 power a. Okay, the first one seems to be okay. We have a here, 7 times 10 power a. How about this one? So what is this one? Let's break it down. So 10 a power minus 1. It is 10 a divided by 10. Okay. So what else can we do now? Let's see. So we can simplify. So we have 3 times 10 power a divided by 10. That is 0.3 times 10 power a. So replace this one. Back in here you will have 7 times 10 power a minus 0.3 times 10 power a. Now factorize. You have 7 minus 0.3, and we factorize the 10 power a outside. So you will have 7 minus 0.3 is 5.7 times 10 power a. So now we compare. This is the same as this, and this is the same as this. So your answer is k has to be 5.7. Now for part 12, we have to simplify this one. So first thing first, let's bring in the power. You will have 2 power 3 x 2 times 3. That will become 8x power 6. Now for this one, simplify one by one. So we have 6t cubed. Now whenever you have so let's write this down again. So divide by 2 over 3. So the t square is actually up. T square is up, it is not below. So now we have to change the divide to multiply. So you will have 6t cubed, it is over 1. Change this to multiply, and then we have to flip this upside down. You will have 3 on top and 2t squared. Now we can simplify. 1, 3, 2, 1. That will be 9t. So 9t is your answer. Now let's move on to question 13. So we have 2 sets. We have set P and Q. So P is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Q is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Now we have to find the number of elements in this set. So let's first find this set. P union Q is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we have 9, 11. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So number of elements will be 10. That is your answer for part A. Now for part B, we have a few set notations. So here we have P is an element of A intersecting B. Okay. Q is an element of A union B prime. And finally we have R is an element of A intersecting B prime. Now on this Venn diagram below, we have to write the letters in the subset. So first one is pretty easy. It is inside, in between those two. That will be P is right here. And then we have Q is inside A union B prime. So A union B will be everything in here. Prime is mean outside of that. Q has to be outside. And now for this one, A intersecting B prime. So A is here. Intersecting B prime, which is outside of B, you will have here as your answer. That is question number 13. Okay, so let's move on to question number 14. So here we have a net is folded to make a triangular prism. As you can see, this shape will be folded. Now, which vertices join with A? So where's A? A is right here. So we have to use a bit of imagination. So for example, here I have this shape, right? So let me try to fold this and see which one touches with A. So just give me one moment here. I will try to fold this and see what happens. Well, it is not great, but you get the idea. You'll get a shape something like this, right? Like a prism. Now, I need to see where's my A. So if you check, my A will be right here at the end, right? Now, which side touches A? If you observe, A is here, right? So if I look, A is here. The side here is, sorry, you can see it's E and G, right? So basically the idea here is you fold this up. When you fold this up, you close this up, you put this up here. The side that touches with A will be this side, right, G, and then this side. When you close this, this will be touching here. So your answer part A will be E and G. And also here you see vertices, it means more than one, so E and G will be your answer. And now part B, which edge joins D? So where's D? D is this one. Now, so when you close this up, you have to fold this up. Which edge will meet D? If you observe, it will be this side. Your answer is AB. Okay. Well, that was not great, so that was kind of useless here. But anyways, I hope you guys understand this. You have to use a bit of imagination. Okay. Now, part C, we have FH as 2. This is FH. And we have GH as 2. And we have JH as 5. Okay. So how do you find the volume of a triangular prism? So if it is a prism, volume of prism, it is always the case, it is area of cross section times the length. Now when you fold everything up, the cross section will be this triangle, area will be half times base times height, and the length is 5. That will be 10 centimeters cubed for the volume. That is your question, part 14. Now let's move on to question 15. So we have 2 bags containing beads. The first bag contains 7 beads, of which 3 are red and 4 are white. Okay. And the second bag contains 5 beads, of which 2 are red and 3 are blue. Okay. So I think I wrote something wrong here. This should be blue, not, sorry about that. This should be blue here, not white. Okay, so let's move on to the questions. It says 1 bead is taken at random from each bag, as you can see below. So red, white, and then we have second bag, red, blue, red, blue. Now question number 1 is, find the chance that both beads are red. So it has to be red and red. So pretty easy. Red and red will be this one. So 3/7 times 2/5. That will be 6/35. Okay, that is your first answer. Now part B, both beads are white. So it has to be white and white. As you can see, it is not possible because here we don't have white. So it will be 0 will be your answer, right? Because we don't have white in the second bag. Now part C, exactly 1 bead is red. So it can be red and blue, or it can be white and red. So let's write this down. So red and blue will be, the first one is red is 3/7 times blue is 3/5, O is plus, white is 4/7, and red is 2/5. So let's see, what do we have? So 9/35 plus 8/35. So 9 plus 8 is 17/35 will be your answer. Okay, that is your question 15. Now let's move on to question 16. So the heights of a sample of plants were measured. The results are shown in the table below in the diagram. So let's see, what do we have? So we have the height and the frequency. And here we have the histogram. This is the frequency density, and here we have the height. Now part 1 is to find the value of P. P is the frequency for this class. So as you guys know already, we have to first find the frequency density for this class. As you can see, 15 to 25 is here, 15 to 25 is here, and the value is 4. So we know that for this class, the FD is equal to 4. Now, how do you find FD? FD is equal to the frequency divided by class width is equal to 4. Right. Now, P is the frequency is equal to 4 times the class width. Now, what is the class width? It is this minus this, that will be 25, minus 15, that will be 10. Right? So that will be 4 times 10, that will be 40. So value of P will be 40 from this table. Now part B, we have to complete the histogram. So we have the first 3 have been done for you. We just have to do the last one. 25 to 40 will be from here to here. And here we have frequency is 30, and the class width is 40 minus 25 is 15. So FD will be 30 divided by 15, that will be 2. So 2 will be right here. So let's see, what do we have here? So these two. So that will be the last one for your histogram, and that will be your question 16. Let's move on to question number 17. So part 1, by measurement find the bearing of B from A. So B from A, so we have to find this angle by measurement. Now I don't have the exact drawing, so it will not be good, it will not be exact. So but the idea here is you just have to find this angle, right? So you can know this is 180, you can find this one and add this one, or you can just find this one and then take 360 minus this one to find this one. So for this one I will not have the correct value because I don't have the exact drawing, but you get the idea of how to find the angle, right? So you can just, this one is a straight line, this has to be 180, and this one can be measured by using your protractor. So you find this and you add 180, or you can just find this one here, measure this with your protractor, and then take 360 minus this one to get the angle. So that's the idea for this one. Okay. Now for part B, we have CX is the bisector of angle ACB. Okay, so CX is the bisector of angle ACB. That's good to know. So bisector of angle means it is a line that cuts the angle exactly in half. So basically CX cuts this angle C exactly in half. That's what it means. Now part 1, we have to use a compass and a ruler, construct the locus of points inside of the triangle that are equidistant from B and C. Okay, so we have to find the perpendicular bisector of B and C. So pretty easy. You go to this point, B and C. Now we have to go to point C, measure distance which is more than halfway, and then draw an arc on both sides, right? And then we have to use the same distance, go to point B, intersect the arcs. Okay, so as you can see, we have 2 points of intersection, right? So now we join them together to form the perpendicular bisector of the line BC. Of course, inside of the triangle. That's the question asked here, inside of the triangle. Now we have a shape is, first condition, it is nearer to AC than to BC. Okay, so here we have C in common, so from C has to be closer to AC. So this is the angular bisector, has to be closer to BC, so below this line. This is AC. And second condition here is we have to be nearer to C than to B. So we have to be closer, so we have to be on this side. Okay, so your answer have to be this one. Have to be below this line and to the left of this line, so your answer will be this one. Okay, and that is your question number 17. Now question number 18. The diagram is the distance time graph of Safira's journey from home to a shop. So this one is the diagram. This is from home. This is home here. And the shop is here. Okay. Now it says she leaves home to a shop and back again. Okay. She leaves home at 8:15 and returns at 8:50. So basically she leaves home at 8:15 and come back at 8:50. Okay. Now question, how many minutes does she stay in the shop? So let's see. So she leaves home and she arrives here at the shop, which is 8:30, and she leaves here. As you can see here, there's no movement, it stays the same, which means she's in the shop. Now she leaves at this time, so 35 minus 30, that is 5 minutes, right? So she stays only for 5 minutes. Now part B, at 8:30, her brother leaves home and goes to a shop. So 8:30, where's 8:30? Is right here. Okay. It says he walks at the same speed as Safira. Now you have to know something here, is that whenever you have a distance time graph, the gradient of the graph is equal to the speed. Okay, so that's something we can use to help us. Okay, now question part 1. So distance time graph, the gradient is the speed. So now let's say you had a speed time graph. The gradient has to be the acceleration. So different cases, this one is distance time graph, so the gradient has to be speed of the person. So now it says, the brother now travels at the same speed as Safira. Now part 1, on the grid, draw the graph of his journey to the shop. Okay, so basically we just have to draw a straight line from this time and arriving to the shop. So what can we do? We can just, pretty easy, we can just do something here, is take a line parallel with this one and just shift to this point. You can just do that to show that it is parallel. But if you want to, you can also do by calculation. It is up to you, but that's the main idea. It needs to be in the same direction as this one. Okay, that's her brother's journey to the shop. That is part 1. Now for part 2, how far from home is he from the shop, when he meets Safira? So let's see. He meets Safira at this point. So how far is he from the shop? This is the distance from the shop, which is this value. So that will be 1200 minus 800. That will be 400. So he is 400 from the shop. And I believe that is in meters for the y-axis. Now for part C, calculate the speed Safira walks to the shop. So as we have discussed before, the speed here is the gradient. So Safira is this graph. So one way of doing this is, you can first find the speed by what? By using 2 points, or you can just use a triangle. For example, here, I'll use my old trick. I like to use my triangle. So I would like to make a triangle here, a right angle triangle. The gradient is equal to what? The height divided by base. The height here is 400, and the base here is 5 minutes, right? So the speed is equal to 400 meters over 5 minutes. But now you need to find the answer in terms of km per hour, so convert, that will be. So you guys know that km is equal to 1000 meters. So 400 meters have to be. So how do you find this? You have to do 1 km, 1 over 1000 times 400. Or just divide by 1000, right? So you will have 400 divided by 1000, 0.4. So that will be 0.4 km. And now if you want to change minutes into hours, so pretty easy. We know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 5 minutes will be 1 divided by 60 times 5, which is 1 over 12. 1 over 12. Okay, so let's do the calculation. So basically this is, what is 0.4? 0.4 is the same as saying 4 over 10. So you will have 4 over 10. When you have divide, you can multiply 12 over 1. That will be simplify. Let's see, what do we have? So 4 times this will be 48 over 10. That will be 4.8. That will be 4.8 km per hour. That is your answer for the speed in km per hour. So basically, step is divide this by 60 to make this become hours, and divide by 1000 to make this become km, and then find the ratio, the fraction, simplify to this one. This is your speed in km per hour. So again, this trick works everywhere on the graph. So for example, I took this as my triangle, but I can also do this. I can just take this one as my triangle as well. It's the same thing. Let's say, for example, I can take this one as well. My height here is 1200. My base here is 15. So same steps. And then let's divide. You will have the same values. Now, this is question number 18, and the answer for part C will be this one. Now let's move on to question number 19. So on the graph we have triangle A, B, and the point P are on the graph. Okay. Now part 1, we have to describe the single transformation that maps A onto B. So A onto B, if you observe, it's pretty simple, right? You can see it is clearly a reflection on the x-axis, because if you count, this point became this point. So we have 1, 2, and 1, 2. So same equally distance, same distance for those reflections. So basically, let's write this down. It is a reflection on the line, or on the y-axis. You can just say on x-axis, sorry. That is the transformation. Now for part 2, we have to write down the matrix that represent this information. So here we have to use a trick. If you don't remember the matrix, we can just use a trick. So first you begin with your axis. You take these 2 points first. This is the point 1, 0, and the point 0, 1. This is the point minus 1, 0, and this is the point 0, minus 1. Now, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. Now, if you were to reflect in x-axis, now if you observe, we first have to look at this point. So, reflection on the x-axis, this point will not move because it is already on the x-axis. So the first 2 points will be 1, 0. How about this one? If we reflect on the x-axis, this point will become this point. So it has to be 0, minus 1. So this is your matrix representing reflection in the x-axis. Now for part B, we have a triangle A is mapped onto triangle C by an enlargement, center P, scale factor minus 2. Okay. Now question. On the grid, draw and label C. So what do we know? We know the center is P and the scale factor is minus 2. So pretty easy. So we have to take the points. So the first point here is this one. This is the point 2, 2. But what is this point? What is the distance in relation to the point P? Because this is now your center, right? Because remember, O is not your center, but center is P now. So we have to see how do you move from this point to the point P, right? So let's see, how can you do that? So you would say from this point I have to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to this one, right? That is for this one. How about this one? You have to move 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, right? This one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the distance, let's write this down. Let's call this points A, B, and C. Okay. Now the points in relation from the point P, the first one will be, let's call this, should we call this AP or PO? Let me think. Let's just call this A, because my point here is that I don't want to take this as my center, but this one, right? So distance from this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Has to be. From A going to P has to be minus 4, 0. Now B will be minus 4, minus 2. And C have to be minus 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be minus 8, 0. So going from C to that point. Now to find the image, we have to multiply by the scale factor here. So in that case, we can just multiply by half or minus half, up to you. But the point here, the reason why is minus means it has to be on the other side of the point of center of rotation. I mean, it's enlargement, not rotation. So whenever you do that, has to be on the other side. So one way that can help you with that is we can just draw lines, connect these two together. So basically these points will be on the other side of my point. So I can do this by observation too, because it's pretty simple. I can see that since this is 2, right? Because I know my scale factor is minus half. My minus sign means on the other side, so half. Half of 2 is what? Is 1. So it has to be 1. So this is 1 here, exactly 1. So basically that will be my triangle. So by observation, that has to be my triangle here. So that is my, this point is A. We have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And minus half will be 1, 2, will be right here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Minus half will be minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have this one, which is from minus 4 times half. That will be minus 2 and then minus 1. So 1, 2, and 1 will be right here. So basically this will become B prime, and this will be A prime, and this is C prime. Okay, that will be your image of the triangle. So there's many ways to do this. You can also use matrix, which is matrix times object is equal to image. But here, because we don't have the center, we can first minus the center P, and then in the end add back the center P to find the answer, to use your matrix equation. But the main idea here is, what does minus sign mean? Here the minus sign, this minus sign is tricky. It only means that the reflection will be, not the enlargement will be happening on the other side of your center. That's what it means. Now you can connect those 2 points to see where your image will lie on the line, and the same thing for here. You just have to find the matrix, I mean the vectors, multiply by half and find the points, right? So if you do that, multiply by half. So again, minus sign is only means on the other side of the point. It doesn't have really a big meaning here. This is what it means. That will be minus 2, 0, minus 2, minus 1, and minus 4, 0. So if you count, first one is minus 2, 0. So 1, 2, minus 2 will be right here. Minus 2, 1, minus 2, minus 1. So 1, 2, minus 1 will be right here. This one is minus 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, this question was in relation to the point P as your center. Okay, so there's many ways of doing this question. I hope that was pretty easy, right? There's many ways of doing that same question. That was part B of the question. Question 19. Now question 20. The diagram shows a sequence of patterns. Each pattern has 1 more row and 2 more dots in each row. As you can see, 1 more row is, we have 2 rows here. Here we have 3 rows. Okay, and 2 more dots in each row. So here we had 1 dot, so we have 2 more dots in each row. Okay, so now we have to use the same logic and draw the pattern form. So we're going to have 1 more row. Here now, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So we will have 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 more row. Now we will have 2 more dots. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 2 is 7. So you have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will be your pattern number 4. That's the idea for this one. Okay, that is part 4. Now for part B1, complete the table for the first 4 terms of this sequence. So we have to complete the table. Now, this is 1, 2, now 3. What is the number of dots in 3? You can just count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. So total dots is 20. Number of dots per row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now for number 4, number of rows is now 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of dots per row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And everything will be 5 times 7 will be 35. That is part 1, part B. Now part C, we have to find the expression for in terms of n for P. So what is P? P is simply the number of rows. So if you observe, when the pattern was n, number of rows was 2. That was 2, it was 3. It was 3, it was 4, 4, 5. So if it's n, and it has to be n plus 1, right? So P has to be n plus 1. Now for Q, Q here is what? As you can see, Q has a sequence here. So we have, when it was the first term, the value was 1. Second term, the value was 3. Third term, the value was 5. Fourth term, the value was 7. Every time it was increasing by the same amount, which is 2. Now what is the nth term? So we can write down 2n for now. Now, if n was equal to 1, you would have 2 times 1, that will be 2, which is not right because we need 1 to be our first term. How can you change 2 to 1? You have to minus 1. So minus 1 here will be your answer. So 2n minus 1. And now finally, so Q here is 2n minus 1. Now part 4 is find an expression in terms of n for the total number of dots in n. So pretty easy. As you can see, to find the total number of dots, we just multiplied these two. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 5 is 20. So same thing, P times Q will be the total number of dots. N plus 1 times 2n minus 1. So n times this will be 2n squared minus n plus 2n minus 1. 2n squared plus n minus 1 will be your answer. That is your answer in terms of n. And that is your question number 20. Let's move on to question number 21. So the diagram shows a triangle formed by joining the points A, B, and C. And the equation of the line BC is given by this. So this is the line BC. Great. Now part 1. The region inside the triangle ABC is defined by 3 inequalities. Now write down the other two. So the first one has been given to you already, which is formed by the line BC. Has to be below 32. So we have to find the equation of this line and this line. So equation of AB is pretty easy. AB is a horizontal line. It is y equal to the value of 2. So that will be y has to be more than 2. That's the first one. And we have to find the equation of this one, right? So how do you find the equation of a line? You have to use the 2 points, AC. A is 1, 2. C is 4, 8. So the gradient will be 8 minus 2, y2 minus y1, and x2 minus x1. That will be 6 over 3. That will be 2. Now you have to use a point here to find the equation. Y minus 2 over x minus 1 is equal to the value of 2. Cross multiply, you will have y minus 2 is 2x minus 2. That will be, so let's continue here. You will have y minus 2 equal to 2x minus 2. So y is equal to 2x. That is your equation, but it has to be below the line. So you must have y is less than 2x. So your answer here will be this equation. this equation for your inequality is defining that region. Now for part B, the points, we have a point here, K7. This is your x value and this is your y value, where K is an integer value, lies inside of the triangle ABC. Okay, so find the possible values of K. So now we have to observe to see what is possible here, right? So the main idea here is, let's write it down. So we have the point K7. That is your x value and your y value. So basically we have a, let's say we have a line here. This is the value of y equal to 7. So now we have 2 points of intersection, which is the values of x. Okay, so since we know that K is an integer, it lies inside of the triangle. So basically we can find these 2 points and K will have to be inside these 2 values. So let's find that. When y equal to 7, what is the value of x? So this line, the equation we know it is 2x plus 3y equal to 3, 2. So let's solve for the value of x. So y equal to 7, you have 2x plus 3 times 7 equal to 3, 2. That will be 2x plus 21 equal to 3, 2. 2x equal to 32 minus 21. So what is that value? Let's check. So 32, 21, that will be 1, 1. So 2x will be 11, x will be 5.5. So this value here is 5.5. Now what is this value? It will be in this point. So you will have, this equation is y equal to 2x. So we have y equal to 2x and we have y equal to 7. So 7 is 2x. So x have to be 7 divided by 2, that will be 3.5. So this value here is 3.5. Okay, so now on the triangle we have these 2 points and we know K has to be between those 2. So right now we know K is between those 2 values, 3.5 and 5.5. So what integer values we have in between? We have 4 and 5. So the possible values of K will be 4 and 5. Okay, that is your answer. K can be 4 or 5. That is question number 21. Now question number 22, we have this circle. We have the A, B, C, D. So we have, I think, where's A? A should be A, B, C. So let's do this A, I think. This is B. So A, B, C, D, E, right? A, B, C, D. This is O. Lie on the circle. Center O. Okay. Now we have angle AOB. AOB is 48. And DEB is 54. Great. Now question is to find the value of x. So first thing first, where is x? X is right here. Now the first thing you observe is, if you look at the triangle OAB, this one is a isosceles triangle. Why? Because these two are the same, because they are radius of the circle. So what is this value? Pretty easy. You have 180 minus 48, that will be 7, 10, 10 minus 8 will be 2. That should be 3, 1. Now, to find x, divide by 2, that will be 6 and 6. That will be 66. Okay. Now, we have to find the value of y. So, if you observe y, how can you find that? So, by observation, we have triangle BOD, and we also have BED. If you observe the angle here and the angle here, we know that the angle at center is always twice the angle at circumference, so y has to be 2 times 54. That is only possible because they lie on the same, they have the same side, so they have the same side DB, forming this triangle, right? So at center, twice this is. So you will have 108 as your value of y. Now z will be what? Will be this one. So how can you find z? If you observe, we have this shape, E, B, C, D. The points all lie on the circle, which means the opposite angle has to be supplementary. So it means that z plus 54 have to give you 180. So z has to be 180 minus 54. That should be what value? Let's see. That should be 6. 7 minus 2 will be 2, minus 5 will be 2, 1. So your answer is 126 for your value of z. Okay, so that will be your question number 22, step by step. Let's move on to question number 23. So here we have a diagram. We have circle with center O and Q, touches at a point P. This is the point P. And OPQ is a straight line. Okay, that's good to know. And the line ORT intersects the small circle. So ORT, okay, at the point R, and is a tangent to the larger circle at point T. So pretty easy. So once you know they are tangent, you know that this has to be 90 degrees. Okay. Now OR is 4. This is 4. And we have RT is 6. So together, that has to be 10, right? And what else do we know? Let's see. We have the radius of the large circle is x. That's good to know. The radius here is x. So which means PQ is also x because it is also the radius of the circle, right? Now find the value of x. So let's see how can you find the value of x. So if you observe, OR is the radius of the small circles, but OP is also the radius, which means this is 4, and this is the value of 4 plus x. Okay, so now if you observe, we have a right angle triangle, which is like this. Q, T, O, this is 90, this is 10, this is x, and this is 4 plus x. So we have to find the value of x, so we can use the Pythagoras theorem, which says that 10 squared plus x squared is equal to 4 plus x squared, right? So we can simplify and see what happens. That is 100 plus x squared, that is 16 plus 8x plus x squared. That will cancel out. You'll have 8x equal to 100 minus 16. What is that value? That will be 84, right? So 8x will be 84. So let's find the value of x. X has to be 84 divided by 8. So let's simplify. 84 divided by 8. So first thing we can do is divide by 4. You will have 2. That will be 2 and 1. And then we can divide by 2. That will be 1, 0, 5. 10.5. So this is your value of x. Okay, and that will be your question number 23. Now this is a question number 24. So here we have to find a square. A square is a times a. 2 minus 3, 1 minus 2 times the same thing. 2 minus 3, 1 minus 2. The rows times column. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. Rows by column. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 times minus 2 is minus 2. Rows by column. So minus 3 times 2 is minus 6 plus this time this will be so we have 6 minus minus become plus, Again, rows by column. So minus 3 times 1 is minus 3 plus 4. That will become 1, 0, and that will be 0 and 1. So A squared is the identity matrix. So 1, 0, 0, 1. That is part A. Now for part B, we have to find the matrix X that satisfies this equation. So this is your matrix A. So we have XA is equal to this one. So to find the value of X, we have to eliminate the value of A. So we have to multiply by the inverse on both sides. This will cancel out. X will be 0.2 times the A inverse. So first we have to find inverse of A. So pretty easy. So A, we know it's this matrix, which is 2 minus 3, 1 minus 2. So let's find out. So basically you will have what values? So we have to find the, first we can find the determinant of A. That will be cross multiply. Minus 4 minus minus 3. That will become minus 1. And the adjoint matrix will be minus 2, 2, 3, minus 1. So from here, A inverse is 1 over the determinant times the value of the adjoint matrix. That will give you 2, 1, minus 3, minus 2. Now put this back in the main equation. X have to be 0, 2. Inverse have to be 2 minus 3, 1 minus 2. So rows by column. 0 times this will be 0 plus 2 times this will be minus 6. Rows by column. 0 times this will be 0 plus this time this will be minus 4. So your answer will be minus 6 and minus 4. That is your value for X. Okay, that was the last question of this paper. So again, this paper is not out yet. We don't have a marking scheme yet for this paper, but I hope you guys understand how to do those questions step by step, and you can double check your answers on what you did for your exam as well, how we did step by step to find the answer. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.